Hello, the intelligence community, Fox Connecticut News. They have roles with the intelligence at their location and next to it, involved with the state corrections offices, with street takeover stories, and with a whole bunch of different countries involved also with the reports on the street takeover next to the state corrections offices. It has roles with them with all kinds of evidences rackets, with the interbranch kids involved with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, and predicate acts with facts and databases behind people's backs, and then acting tied to it behind people's backs too, and trying to make fake exceptions that sort of the same, including with the news. WFSB attached me to fake conversations with themselves and with others. A bunch of people involved with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, have roles of people named tomorrow with this at Central and Kerr. I never seen either of them at Central Connecticut State University. They have a girlfriend they shared with also a whole bunch of other people. And Demore had roles with her with a home break-in and a house tied to it. And the police with wire crime acts and methods, falsified police. But she also had roles with some other people. I don't even know them. And I never had a class with her. She had Mr. Neville, who I did have a class with, but not with Heather Hansen. She was in my. They put her in a middle school, summer school class with me, with people increasingly involved with child abusers tied to a former teachers that I didn't even have, and ones I had that I never had conversations with behind my back to people who did, who have collusions with it. And I caught them with a principal child abuser first. Before that was caught, others recorded them. They're pretending, they're faking and changing digital evidences. They're changing and faking everything that happens, including at interbranch locations. It's not by accident they speak about crimes while their roles of predicate acts and facts methods and collusions at all natures of crime scenes. In other words, they have whole careers of people maintained with this. A bunch of people with the state corrections offices have roles with child abusers, leaders of kids, first forced years apart, and more involved then and now, including interbranch kids and people with the state judicial branch offices and corrections offices. Increasingly, like with their syntax regarding legislation too, regarding street takeovers. Know how they say they could arrest people just for watching it. These are worse than entrapment roles, identity theft, fraud, slanders. They have wire crime. They fake the police forms with the police departments, plural, with the same house. They have wire crime acts where they fake transcripts. In other words, a whole bunch of people with the intelligence tied to you know, car dealerships too, with people I never had saw on campuses, and their roles all along Two Rod Highway, where it runs into Hangdog Lane, and conjunctions to it and to that, like the state judicial branch offices. Increasingly criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions wrought with the corrections officers' names. Over time, collusions with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and differences, racketeering worse than war crimes. These are also people roles with that story of a person reportedly held captive by his mother or someone, a stepmother. And that woman is involved also with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, in a whole bunch of different countries, and a lawyer of his and his co-defendants and their family members involved with Lena's Pizza on Park Street with a Daryl Sullivan, also involved with Weathersfield Police with some predicate acts, identity theft, fraud, slanders, and name switching and forging, and courts involved with them, intercities with campuses with predicate predators. Increasingly, some people in my sixth grade class were involved with intelligence families that used to live near me and involved with that. And then they were involved then and further with the principal upskirt nature, with other natures of crimes worse than that he was put in jail for, that I caught him with worse, forced. They're changing and faking what's actually digitally recorded and with the wires. And they're doing the opposite at the same time because they're being and haven't been used. There are more people involved with instances and the questions and answers also faked by the interbranch. In other words, just putting fake transcripts on a mass scale, and they're refusing to identify themselves legitimately. Weathersfield police are recording, confessing, demonstrating, and confirming. They faked conversations with me when I was a kid and when I was an adult. You have some Mendez police involved with the Colon family, and ones that have been, and a Smith family near me, involved with a whole bunch of people I don't know their names, involved putting fake things in databases with them, and courts, judges, and prosecutors and their family members, and people tied to them, playing the evidence on my street with them since I was a kid. Fake ties, fake nature ties to me. These are courts that go back and forth with all sides of cases, like the Diddy case, and the court is corruption at the same time. Multiple directors of the FBI have recorded collusions with the World Trade Center predicate acts, and just with overall worse than criminal incompetence being and have been used, recorded criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions raw, and dishonestly pretending that's debatable. Get them on paper, one name and sequence. In other words,